Have you ever wondered what separates those who achieve incredible success from those who constantly struggle and fail to reach their full potential? I've spent decades studying the habits and mindsets of the world's most accomplished individuals, from visionary entrepreneurs to groundbreaking artists to pioneering scientists. And I've discovered that while their paths to success have been diverse, they all share one crucial trait in common. They understand that there are three things in life that must remain private at any cost. You see, in today's hyper-connected, share-everything world, we've been conditioned to believe that radical transparency is the key to connection, that we must bear our entire lives on social media in order to be seen, heard, and accepted. But the truth is, oversharing our lives for public consumption is one of the quickest paths to mediocrity and stagnation. The most extraordinary among us, those who leave an indelible mark on the world, are incredibly selective and intentional about what they choose to share and what they keep hidden. So what are these three critical things that the ultra-successful always hold close to the vest? The first is their deepest fears and insecurities. We all have them, those nagging doubts and anxieties that keep us up at night, that voice in our head telling us we're not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough to achieve our dreams. But those who reach the pinnacle of success have learned to face these fears in private. They don't advertise them to the world or wallow in self-pity. Instead, they use their fears as fuel, as a motivator to prove the doubters wrong and push past their perceived limitations. Think about it. Have you ever heard Oprah discussing her deepest insecurities in an interview? Has Elon Musk ever tweeted about waking up in a cold sweat, paralyzed by anxiety about failing? Of course not. The greats know that giving voice and validity to your fears is like pouring Miracle-Gro on weeds. The more attention you give them, the more they'll suffocate your potential. They feel the fear, acknowledge it, and then get to work in the quiet of their own minds and hearts. The second thing the incredibly successful keep private is their true opinion of others. We live in an age of radical transparency where everyone feels entitled to publicly rate, review, and tear down anyone they disagree with. But those who achieve greatness understand the power of restraint, of keeping their judgments close to the vest. They know that speaking ill of others, even if justified, rarely serves them in the long run. It drains their energy, distracts their focus, and ultimately reflects more on them than on the object of their criticism. As the incomparable Michelle Obama once said, "When they go low, we go high. The titans of success understand that rising above pettiness and negativity isn't just good karma, it's a master key to accomplishment." They don't get mired in tit-for-tat squabbles or Twitter feuds. They keep their head down, their integrity intact, and let their work speak for itself. They understand that success is the sweetest revenge. The final thing the most successful keep private is, ironically, their success itself. Of course, their accomplishments may be public knowledge, reported in the press, or celebrated at swanky galas. But you'll rarely see them gloating about their triumphs, humble bragging on Instagram, or rubbing their prosperity in the face of others. The truly successful understand that discretion is the better part of valor, that needing to showboat your achievements is a sign of insecurity, not confidence. They know that nothing turns people off faster than a braggart, someone constantly tooting their own horn and desperate for validation. Secure in themselves and their abilities, the wildly successful let their reputation precede them. They don't need to be the loudest or flashiest person in the room. They command respect through the sheer force of their presence and the weight of their results. So let's recap. If you want to join the ranks of the extraordinarily accomplished, the three things you must always keep private are your deepest fears, your unfiltered opinions of others, and the true extent of your success. Easier said than done. I know we're hardwired for connection, for sharing our authentic selves, but like with most things in life, it's about balance, discernment, and delayed gratification. Instead of indiscriminately broadcasting your fears to anyone who will listen, share them selectively with a trusted mentor or confidante who can help you reframe and overcome them. When you're tempted to publicly eviscerate a competitor or naysayer, vent in private and then channel that energy into your craft, using it as motivation to be the best. And while it's wonderful to celebrate your wins and milestones, do so with humility, grace, and a focus on the team and supporters who helped you get there. Now, you may be thinking, what about transparency? What about the power of vulnerability and authenticity that so many thought leaders champion? Here's the key nuance: being selectively transparent, vulnerable, and authentic with the right people in the right context is what fosters deep connection and trust. Blindly broadcasting every opinion, fear, and win for the masses dilutes your message, diminishes your credibility, and ultimately makes you forgettable. The most iconic and impactful leaders, the ones who have revolutionized industries, uplifted humanity, and left a legacy that endures, understand this distinction. They're not closed off or inauthentic, quite the opposite. They form genuine connections and inspire fierce loyalty, but they do so judiciously with clear boundaries and intentionality. They know, as the great Maya Angelou taught us, that people will forget what you said and did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. When you selectively share your truth with those who've earned the right to hear it, when you're generous with your knowledge but protective of your energy, when you celebrate others more than you celebrate yourself, you create an emotional resonance that lasts. You become the kind of leader, creator, and friend that people want to support, champion, and emulate. So as you navigate your own path to success, remember the power of restraint, of holding certain things sacred and close to your heart. In a world that often rewards the loudest and flashiest, dare to be different. Dare to be discerning. Dare to keep your fears, your judgments, and your wins private. Because as the incomparable Audrey Hepburn once said, elegance is the only beauty that never fades, and I would argue that the same holds true for success. When you carry yourself with elegance, when you're intentional and purposeful with what you share and what you hold back, you create an aura of mystery, of depth, of substance that sets you apart. You attract the right people, opportunities, and resources into your orbit. You create a legacy that lasts. So my friends, as you go forth into the world to make your mark, remember that true success isn't about fame, fortune, or followers. It's about living with authenticity, integrity, and purpose. It's about being selective and strategic with what you share and what you withhold. It's about understanding that some things are meant just for you to fuel your own growth and resilience. And when you master the art of keeping certain things private, of being transparent and vulnerable with intention, you'll find that success isn't just something you chase, it's something you embody naturally and effortlessly. You'll radiate a quiet confidence, a magnetic presence that draws others to you and inspires them to greatness. So hold your fears close and transmute them into fuel. Keep your judgments in check and let your work speak for itself. Celebrate your wins with humility and grace. Because when you master the power of intentional privacy, you'll find that success isn't just a destination, it's a way of being, a state of flow and fulfillment that permeates every aspect of your life. And that, my friends, is the essence of a life well lived, a legacy worth leaving. Not one of flaunted accomplishments or fleeting fame, but one of quiet impact, of lives touched and hearts inspired. A legacy built on the bedrock of character, of choosing substance over flash every single day. So as you go out into the world armored with this wisdom, I challenge you to live with intention, to be strategic and selective with what you share. Hold your fears close and alchemize them into strength. Keep your judgments in check and let your integrity speak volumes. Celebrate your wins with quiet confidence and use them as fuel for even greater impact. Because when you master the art of private success, you'll find that you're not just achieving your goals, you're fulfilling your highest potential and leaving a legacy that endures. You're becoming the kind of leader, creator, and human being that others aspire to be. And isn't that the ultimate success? Not just to achieve, but to serve, to inspire, to leave the world a little brighter than you found it? So go forth with courage, with discernment, with the quiet confidence that comes from knowing what to hold close and what to set free. Keep learning, keep growing, keep pushing past your comfort zone. Sure, but always, always stay anchored in your truth, your integrity, your highest self. Because that, my friends, is the key to a life of boundless success, impact, and fulfillment. That is the path of the true legends, the visionaries, the icons who changed the world. And it all starts with mastering the power of privacy, of being intentional and strategic with what you share and what you hold sacred. So go out there and live with fierceness, with passion, with unshakable self-mastery. Keep those three key things private and watch as your success soars to heights you never imagined. This is your moment, your opportunity to redefine what success looks like, to pioneer a new paradigm of accomplishment fueled by substance, not flash. You have everything you need within you. The world is waiting for your quiet brand of greatness. So let's make a pact here and now to live with intention, to choose private success over public accolades, to focus on impact over image every single day. Because when we commit to this path of purposeful living, there's no limit to the lives we can touch, the dreams we can manifest, the legacy we can leave. It won't be easy. There will be temptations to overshare, to seek validation, to compare and despair. But you're stronger than that. You're wiser than that. You know, deep in your bones, that true success is an inside job, a sacred compact between you and your highest self. So let's rise to the challenge together. Let's be the vanguard of a new era of accomplishment, one built on character, contribution, and quiet confidence. Let's show the world what's possible when we master the art of private success and use it as fuel for the greater good. This is our time, our chance to rewrite the rules and leave a legacy that inspires generations. It all starts with three simple commitments: to embrace our fears, to hold our judgments, and to celebrate our wins with humble grace. To be strategic and intentional with every share, every post, every interaction. Because in the end, the true measure of our success isn't what we achieve, it's who we become and what we contribute along the way. It's the lives we touch, the problems we solve, the love we give and receive. It's the quiet satisfaction of knowing we stayed true to ourselves and used our gifts to make a difference. So let's make that difference starting now. Let's be the leaders, the creators, the change makers who redefine success for a new era. Let's live with intention, purpose, and unshakable, integrable integrity. Let's keep our fears, our judgments, and our wins private, and let our character speak for itself. Because when we commit to this path of private success and public service, there's no dream too big, no challenge too daunting, no impact too profound. We'll unleash a ripple effect of positive change that touches every corner of the globe. So let's do this. Let's be the pioneers of a new paradigm, the quiet champions of a better world. Let's show everyone what's possible when success is fueled by substance, not flash. This is our moment, our invitation to greatness. Let's answer the call with courage, with grace, with the unshakable conviction that our best days are yet to come. The world is waiting for your unique brand of genius, your heart-centered leadership, your quiet rebellion against the status quo. So let's give it to them with everything we've got. Let's love and lead with the radiant power of private success. Our legacy starts now. Let's make it one for the ages. Let's dive deeper into each of these three pillars of private success and explore how we can apply them in our daily lives for maximum impact. First, let's talk about embracing our fears. We all have them, those nagging doubts and insecurities that hold us back from our full potential. But what if we saw our fears not as obstacles, but as opportunities? What if we use them as fuel for our growth and resilience? Here's the thing, our fears often stem from a place of self-protection. They're our mind's way of keeping us safe, of avoiding potential pain or failure. But when we give in to those fears, when we let them dictate our choices and actions, we limit ourselves. We stay small, stuck, stagnant. But when we learn to embrace our fears, to acknowledge them and then act in spite of them, something incredible happens. We expand our comfort zone. We build our courage muscle. We prove to ourselves that we're capable of so much more than we ever imagined. So how do we do this? How do we learn to dance with our fears instead of running from them? It starts with awareness. We have to be willing to look our fears in the eye, to name them and claim them as our own. Maybe it's the fear of failure, of putting ourselves out there and falling short. Maybe it's the fear of success, of shining too brightly and attracting criticism or judgment. Maybe it's the fear of vulnerability, of letting others see our true selves, flaws and all. Whatever your fears may be, acknowledge them. Write them down, say them out loud, share them with a trusted confidante. Because when we bring our fears into the light, they lose their power over us. They become just another part of our story, not the whole plot. Next, reframe your fears. Instead of seeing them as insurmountable barriers, view them as challenges to be overcome, as opportunities for growth and learning. Ask yourself, what would I do if I wasn't afraid? Who would I be if I let go of this fear? Then take action. Start small with baby steps outside your comfort zone. If you're afraid of public speaking, start by speaking up in a meeting or giving a toast at a family gathering. If you're afraid of failure, take on a project that stretches your skills and challenges you to learn something new. If you're afraid of vulnerability, share something honest and real with a friend or a loved one. The more you face your fears, the more you'll realize that they're not as scary as they seem. You'll start to build momentum, confidence, and resilience. You'll discover strengths and abilities you never knew you had. And slowly but surely, your fears will lose their grip on you. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. Facing our fears takes courage, dedication, and a willingness to be uncomfortable, but the rewards are immeasurable. When we learn to embrace our fears, we open ourselves up to a whole new world of possibility. We become unstoppable, limitless, free. And here's the beautiful thing: as we learn to embrace our own fears, we inspire others to do the same. We become a beacon of courage and resilience, a living example of what's possible when we refuse to let fear hold us back. We create a ripple effect of bravery and boldness that touches everyone around us. So let's make a commitment right here and now to start embracing our fears, to acknowledge them, reframe them, and act in spite of them, to use them as fuel for our growth and our greatness. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Because on the other side of fear lies a life of boundless possibility, of unshakable confidence, of true freedom and fulfillment. And that, my friends, is a life worth fighting for. Now, let's talk about the second pillar of private success: holding our judgments. In a world that's quick to criticize and condemn, it's easy to fall into the trap of judging others. We see someone making a choice we disagree with or expressing an opinion that ruffles our feathers, and we feel the urge to lash out, to put them in their place, to prove them wrong. But here's the thing: when we judge others, we're really just judging ourselves. We're projecting our own fears, insecurities, and limitations onto someone else. We're using them as a mirror to reflect back the parts of ourselves we don't want to face. And the more we judge, the more we close ourselves off from connection, compassion, and growth. We create an us vs. them mentality that divides and polarizes rather than unites and uplifts. We get so caught up in being right that we forget to be kind, to be curious, to be open to new perspectives. But when we learn to hold our judgments, to keep them in check and approach others with empathy and understanding, something amazing happens. We create space for dialogue, for learning, for expansion. We open ourselves up to new ideas, new experiences, new ways of seeing the world. And we realize that everyone is fighting their own battles, facing their own fears and challenges. We recognize the common humanity in each other, the shared struggles and triumphs that bind us all together. So how do we learn to hold our judgments? Again, it starts with awareness. Notice when you feel the urge to criticize or condemn someone else. What emotions are driving that urge? Is it fear, insecurity, defensiveness? Is it a need to be right, to feel superior, to protect your own ego? Once you've identified the root of your judgment, take a step back, breathe. Remind yourself that everyone is on their own journey, doing the best they can with what they have. Choose to approach the situation with curiosity and compassion rather than criticism and condemnation. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this person or situation? How can I use this as an opportunity for growth and understanding? Seek to find common ground, to build bridges rather than walls. And if you do need to express a differing opinion or perspective, do so with grace and respect. Focus on the issue, not the person. Use I statements rather than you statements. Seek to understand before being understood. The more we practice holding our judgments, the more we create a world of empathy, connection, and collaboration. We build relationships based on trust, respect, and mutual understanding. We open ourselves up to new ideas and opportunities that we never would have considered before. And we become the kind of leaders, friends, and partners that others want to follow, support, and emulate. We create a culture of compassion, inclusion, and growth that inspires everyone around us to be their best selves. So let's make a pact right here and now to start holding our judgments, to approach others with curiosity and kindness rather than criticism and condemnation, to seek understanding and common ground even in the face of disagreement or difference. It won't be easy, but it will be transformative, because when we learn to hold our judgments, we create a world of boundless love, connection, and possibility. And that, my friends, is a world worth building. Finally, let's explore the third pillar of private success, celebrating our wins with humble grace. In a culture that often equates success with fame, fortune, and followers, it's easy to get caught up in the comparison game. We see others achieving big, bold, public victories, and we feel like we're falling behind, like we're not enough. But here's the truth: true success isn't about what you achieve, it's about who you become in the process. It's about the lives you touch, the positive impact you make, the legacy you leave. And that kind of success often happens in the quiet moments, the private victories that no one else sees. When you overcome a personal fear or challenge, when you learn a new skill or master a difficult task, when you make a difference in someone's life through a simple act of kindness or generosity, those are the wins that matter most. Those are the moments that shape your character, your confidence, your capacity for greatness. And when you learn to celebrate those wins with humble grace, to savor them privately and use them as fuel for even greater impact, you tap into a deep well of motivation, resilience, and purpose. You realize that success isn't a destination, it's a journey, and every step along the way is worth honoring and appreciating. So how do we learn to celebrate our wins with humble grace? First, we have to redefine what success means to us. We have to get clear on our core values, our true north, our highest vision for our lives and our work. We have to focus on the process, not just the outcome, and find joy and fulfillment in the day-to-day journey of growth and discovery. Next, we have to practice gratitude. We have to take time each day to reflect on what we're thankful for, what we've accomplished, what we've learned and overcome. We have to cultivate a mindset of abundance, recognizing that there is enough success, enough joy, enough love to go around. And when we do achieve a big win, whether it's public or private, we have to celebrate with humility and grace. We have to acknowledge the people and resources that helped us get there, the lessons we learned along the way, the challenges we faced and overcame. We have to use our success as a platform for service, for giving back, for lifting others up. And we have to keep things in perspective. We have to remember that no matter how big our accomplishments may be, we are still human, flawed, fallible, forever learning and growing. We have to stay grounded in our values, our purpose, our commitment to making a positive difference in the world. When we learn to celebrate our wins with humble grace, we create a ripple effect of inspiration and impact. We show others that success isn't about ego or accolades, it's about living with integrity, purpose, and heart. We become a beacon of hope and possibility, a living example of what's possible when we stay true to ourselves and our highest calling. And we realize that the true reward of success isn't the destination, it's the person we become along the way, the relationships we build, the lives we touch, the legacy we leave. So let's make a commitment right here and now to start celebrating our wins with humble grace, to redefine success on our own terms, to practice gratitude and abundance, to use our accomplishments as a platform for service and impact. It won't be easy, but it will be transformative. Because when we learn to celebrate our wins with humble grace, we create a life of true meaning, fulfillment, and joy. And that, my friends, is the ultimate success. As we bring this journey to a close, I want to leave you with a final thought. Success, in all its forms, is not a solo endeavor. It's a team sport, a collective effort, a shared vision for a better world. And each and every one of us has a vital role to play. So as you go out into the world to pursue your own path to greatness, remember that you are not alone. You are part of a global community of change makers, dreamers and doers who are working tirelessly to create a brighter future for all. Lean on that community. Support and uplift each other. Celebrate each other's wins, big and small. Learn from each other's failures and challenges. Be a source of encouragement, inspiration, and accountability for one another. Because together we are unstoppable. Together we can overcome any fear, any obstacle, any limitation. Together we can redefine success, transform lives, and leave a legacy that endures. So let's stand together, shoulder to shoulder, heart to heart to heart. Let's be the vanguard of a new era of success, one built on courage, compassion, contribution, and collective impact. Let's show the world what's possible when we embrace our fears, hold our judgments, and celebrate our wins with humble grace. And most of all, let's never forget why we're here: to live with purpose, to love with abandon, to leave this world a little better than we found it. That is the true measure of a life well lived, a success worth celebrating. So here's to you, my fellow traveler on this path of private success and public impact. Here's to your fears, your failures, your hard-fought victories. Here's to the lives you'll touch, the difference you'll make, the legacy you'll leave. The journey ahead won't be easy, but it will be extraordinary. You have everything you need within you: the courage, the resilience, the heart to achieve your deepest dreams and make your boldest vision a reality. So go out there and live with passion, with purpose, with unbridled joy. Embrace your fears, hold your judgments, celebrate your wins, and know that with every step, every stumble, every triumph, you are paving the way for a brighter tomorrow for yourself, for others, for the world. Your moment is now. Your success is waiting. Your legacy starts today. Let's go out there and create it together. And so, my friends, we come to the end of our journey together. But in truth, it's just the beginning of a new chapter, a new adventure, a new opportunity to create the life and the world of your dreams. As you step out into that world, armed with the wisdom and the tools of private success, know that you are not alone. Know that you are part of a rising tide of change makers, visionaries, and leaders who are redefining what it means to succeed, to thrive, to make a difference. Know that your fears, your failures, your flaws are not weaknesses. They are the very things that make you human, that connect you to others, that give you the strength and the resilience to keep pushing forward no matter what. Know that your judgments, your criticisms, your doubts are not truths. They are simply stories, perceptions, fleeting thoughts that you can choose to release, to reframe, to replace with something more empowering, more expansive, more true. Know that your wins, your accomplishments, your triumphs are not badges of honor to be hoarded or flaunted. They are gifts to be shared, to be leveraged, to be used as a force for good in the world. And most of all, know that your success, your happiness, your fulfillment are not destinations to be reached or goals to be achieved. They are choices to be made moment by moment, day by day, in the quiet corners of your heart and the bold actions of your life. So choose, my friends. Choose to embrace your fears and use them as fuel for your greatness. Choose to hold your judgments and lead with compassion and understanding. Choose to celebrate your wins with humble grace and use them as a platform for service and impact. Choose to live with intention, with integrity, with unshakable purpose. Choose to love with abandon, to give with generosity, to serve with selflessness. Choose to be the change you wish to see in the world, to leave a legacy that inspires generations to come. The path ahead may be uncertain, the challenges may be great, but your potential is limitless. Your capacity for growth, for resilience, for impact knows no bounds. You have within you the power to shape your destiny, to create a life and a world beyond your wildest dreams. So let that power guide you, let it fuel you. Let it be the light that illuminates your path and the fire that ignites your soul. Let it be the source of your courage, your compassion, your unwavering commitment to a better tomorrow. And as you go out into the world to make your mark, know that you are never alone. Know that you are part of a global community of trailblazers and change makers who are working tirelessly to create a brighter future for all. Lean on that community, learn from them, grow with them, celebrate with them, be a source of strength, support, and inspiration for one another, because together we are unstoppable. Together we can overcome any obstacle, achieve any dream, create any reality we can imagine. So let's imagine it, my friends. Let's envision a world where success is measured not by wealth or status, but by impact and contribution. A world where fear is not a barrier, but an invitation to courage and growth. A world where judgment is replaced by understanding, where division is healed by compassion, where every win is celebrated as a victory for all. Let's create that world together. Let's be the pioneers of a new paradigm, the architects of a new era, the champions of a new definition of success, one built on love, on service, on the unshakable power of the human spirit. The journey ahead will be challenging, but it will be worth it. The rewards will be great, but they will pale in comparison to the person you become along the way, the fears you conquer, the lives you touch, the legacy you leave. So go out there and become the hero of your own story. Embrace your fears, hold your judgments, celebrate your wins, live with passion, with purpose, with unbridled joy. And know that with every step, every stumble, every triumph, you are paving the way for a brighter tomorrow for yourself, for others, for the world. Your moment is now. Your success is waiting. Your legacy starts today. Let's go out there and create it together. Thank you, my friends. It has been an honor to share this journey with you. And remember, your greatness is not a destination, it's a decision. Choose it every day, with every breath, with every beat of your heart. Here's to your success, your impact, your unshakable brilliance. The world is waiting for you. Now go out there and shine. Hey there, have you ever found yourself in a situation where you wished you had just kept your mouth shut? I know I have, more times than I'd like to admit. It's a common experience we all share, but the truth is, knowing when to be silent is a skill that can save you a lot of trouble in the long run. Today I want to share with you 5 situations where it's always best to keep your thoughts to yourself and let silence be your ally. First and foremost, when you're angry, it's crucial to hold your tongue. We've all been there, something or someone pushes our buttons and we feel that surge of emotion rising up, urging us to lash out. But here's the thing, words spoken in anger are rarely productive. They're like arrows you can't take back once they've been fired, and they often lead to regret and damaged relationships. When you feel that heat of anger building inside you, take a step back, breathe deeply, and give yourself time to cool off. Trust me, you'll be glad you did. Secondly, when you're in the presence of someone who's grieving, silence can be the most powerful form of support. Whether they've lost a loved one, gone through a breakup, or experienced any kind of profound loss, trying to find the right words to comfort them can be incredibly challenging. Sometimes the best thing you can do is simply be there, offering a listening ear and a shoulder to lean on. Your quiet presence can speak volumes, letting them know that they're not alone in their pain and that you're there for them no matter what. Another situation where silence is golden is when you're tempted to gossip. It's all too easy to get caught up in the thrill of sharing juicy tidbits about others, especially when everyone around you seems to be doing it. But gossiping is a dangerous game, one that can quickly spiral out of control and cause real harm to people's reputations and relationships. When you find yourself in a conversation that's veering into gossip territory, be the one to steer it back on course, or simply excuse yourself. Remember, if you wouldn't want someone saying it about you behind your back, it's best not to say it about others. Fourth on the list is when you're in a heated argument, particularly with someone you care about. It's normal for tempers to flare and voices to rise when you're passionate about something, but there comes a point where continuing to argue becomes counterproductive. If you find yourself going around in circles, rehashing the same points over and over again without any resolution in sight, it might be time to take a break. Sometimes the wisest thing you can do is agree to disagree and give each other some space to cool off and reflect. You can always revisit the issue later when emotions aren't running quite so high. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, it's essential to be silent when you're unsure about something. We live in a world that often prizes quick responses and decisive action, but the reality is there are times when we simply don't have all the information we need to make an informed decision or offer a meaningful contribution. In those moments, it takes courage and humility to admit that you don't know, to ask for more time or more data before weighing in. It's far better to be silent and thoughtful than to rush in with half-baked ideas or opinions that you might later regret. Of course, knowing when to be silent is just one piece of the puzzle. Equally important is knowing how to break that silence when the time is right. When you do choose to speak up, whether it's to offer comfort, to stand up for what you believe in, or to share your ideas and insights, do so with intention and care. Choose your words wisely and deliver them with kindness and respect. At the end of the day, navigating the complex dance of communication is a lifelong journey, one that requires equal parts self-awareness, empathy, and discernment. By learning to embrace silence in the right moments, you give yourself the space to listen, to reflect, and to grow. And when you do speak, you'll find that your words carry more weight and impact because they come from a place of thoughtfulness and authenticity. So the next time you find yourself in one of these 5 situations, when you're angry, when someone is grieving, when gossip is swirling, when an argument is heating up, or when you're unsure, remember the power of silence. Take a moment to pause, to breathe, and to listen both to others and to your own inner wisdom. You might be surprised at how much you learn and how much more effective you become in your interactions with others. In a world that's often noisy and chaotic, silence can be a precious gift, one that we give to ourselves and to those around us. It's a way of creating space for reflection, for healing, and for deeper understanding. By cultivating the skill of knowing when to be silent, we open ourselves up to new possibilities and new ways of being in the world. Of course, being silent isn't always easy. It can feel uncomfortable, even scary at times, to hold our tongues when every fiber of our being is urging us to speak up. But like any skill, it gets easier with practice. Start small by catching yourself in those moments when you're about to say something impulsive or reactive and simply taking a breath instead. Over time, you'll find that the pause becomes more natural, more instinctive. And as you become more comfortable with silence, you may find that it starts to permeate other areas of your life as well. You may become a better listener, more attuned to the subtleties and nuances of the people in the world around you. You may find that you're less likely to get caught up in drama or negativity because you've learned to step back and observe rather than react. And you may discover a new sense of inner peace and clarity as you learn to trust the wisdom of your own quiet mind. Ultimately, the power of silence is about more than just avoiding trouble or keeping the peace. It's about creating space for something deeper and more meaningful to emerge, whether that's a solution to a problem, a new insight or idea, or simply a sense of connection and understanding with another human being. So embrace the silence, my friends. Let it be your teacher, your ally, and your friend. And watch as it transforms not only your relationships and your interactions with others, but also your relationship with yourself and your own inner world. In a culture that often celebrates noise and busyness, choosing silence can feel like a radical act. But it's an act of courage, of self-awareness, and of deep respect for yourself, for others, and for the mysteries and wonders of life itself. So the next time you find yourself in one of those 5 situations, or any situation where you're not sure what to say or do, remember the power of silence. Trust it, embrace it, and let it guide you towards greater wisdom, compassion, and understanding. And know that in the quiet spaces between your words, there is a whole world waiting to be discovered, a world of depth, beauty, and endless possibility. As we continue to explore the power of silence, it's worth diving deeper into each of those 5 situations to unpack the wisdom and the lessons they hold. Let's start with anger, that fiery emotion that can so easily consume us if we let it. When we're angry, it's easy to feel like we're losing control, like our emotions are driving the bus and we're just along for the ride. But the truth is, we always have a choice in how we respond to our anger. We can choose to lash out, to say things we'll later regret, to let our anger dictate our actions and our words. Or we can choose to be silent, to take a step back and give ourselves the space to process our emotions in a healthier way. One of the keys to managing anger is to understand where it's coming from. Often anger is a secondary emotion, a mask for something deeper and more vulnerable underneath. It might be fear or hurt or frustration or a sense of powerlessness. When we can identify the root cause of our anger, it becomes easier to address it in a constructive way, rather than simply reacting to the surface level emotion. Another important aspect of managing anger is to have a toolbox of strategies for calming ourselves down in the moment. This might include deep breathing, counting to 10, or even physically removing ourselves from the situation if possible. The goal is to create enough space between the trigger and our response to allow our rational mind to catch up with our emotional mind. Of course, being silent in the face of anger doesn't mean we have to swallow our feelings or pretend everything is okay. It's important to find healthy ways to express and process our anger, whether that's through journaling, exercise, or talking things out with a trusted friend or therapist. The key is to do so in a way that doesn't cause harm to ourselves or others. Moving on to the second situation, being present for someone who's grieving, the power of silence takes on a different flavor. When someone we care about is going through a painful loss, it's natural to want to fix things, to say something that will make it all better. But the reality is, there are no magic words that can take away the pain of grief. In fact, sometimes our attempts to comfort can actually make things worse if we say the wrong thing or fail to acknowledge the depth of their suffering. That's where silence comes in. By simply being present, by offering our quiet companionship and support, we create a safe space for the grieving person to feel whatever they need to feel without judgment or expectation. We let them know that we see them, that we hear them, and that we're not going anywhere, no matter how messy or uncomfortable things get. Of course, being silent doesn't mean being passive or disengaged. We can still offer practical support, like bringing over a meal or helping with errands. We can still listen actively, giving the person our full attention and letting them know that their words and feelings matter. But we do so without trying to fix or change or rush the process of grief, recognizing that it's a journey that looks different for everyone. In many ways, being present for someone who's grieving is an act of courage and vulnerability. It requires us to sit with our own discomfort, to face the reality of loss and pain head on. It means being willing to witness someone else's suffering without trying to change it or make it go away. And it means trusting that our presence alone can be a source of comfort and strength, even in the darkest of times. When it comes to gossip, the third situation on our list, the power of silence takes on a more proactive role. It's about recognizing the harm that gossip can cause and making a conscious choice not to participate in it, even when it's swirling all around us. Gossip can be incredibly seductive, especially when it's about someone we don't like or who has hurt us in some way. It can feel like a way to bond with others, to feel superior or in control. But the truth is, gossip is a form of violence, a way of wielding words as weapons to tear someone else down. When we engage in gossip, we're not just harming the person being talked about. We're also harming ourselves by eroding our own integrity and contributing to a culture of negativity and mistrust. We're feeding a cycle of hurt and division rather than working towards understanding and healing. So how do we break free from the grip of gossip? It starts with awareness, with noticing when we're tempted to join in or when we find ourselves on the receiving end of someone else's gossip. It means being willing to stand up and say, I'm not comfortable talking about this. Or I don't think this conversation is helpful or productive. It also means cultivating a sense of empathy and compassion both for ourselves and for others. When we can see the humanity in everyone, even those who have hurt us or those we disagree with, it becomes harder to engage in gossip or other forms of harmful speech. We start to recognize that everyone is fighting their own battles and that we're all deserving of respect and kindness. Of course, breaking the habit of gossip isn't always easy, especially if it's something we've been doing for a long time. But like any habit, it can be changed with practice and persistence. We can start by catching ourselves in the act and making a different choice in the moment. We can seek out more positive and uplifting conversations and surround ourselves with people who share our values of kindness and integrity. The fourth situation, being silent in the midst of a heated argument, is perhaps one of the most challenging on our list. When we're in the throes of an argument, especially with someone we care about deeply, it can feel like everything is on the line. We want to be heard, to be understood, to win the battle of words and prove our point. But the truth is, most arguments are not productive conversations. They're power struggles, fueled by ego and defensiveness and the need to be right. They're a way of digging in our heels and refusing to budge rather than working together to find a solution or a common ground. That's where the power of silence comes in. By choosing to be silent, to take a step back and disengage from the argument, we create space for something different to emerge. We give ourselves and the other person a chance to cool down, to reflect on what's really important, and to approach the conversation from a place of greater clarity and compassion. Of course, being silent in an argument doesn't mean giving up or letting the other person win. It's not about avoiding conflict altogether or pretending that everything is okay when it's not. Rather, it's about recognizing when a conversation has become unproductive and making a conscious choice to shift gears. Sometimes that might mean saying something like, I care about you and this relationship, but I don't think this conversation is going anywhere good right now. Can we take a break and come back to it later when we've both had a chance to calm down? Other times it might mean simply taking a few deep breaths or counting to 10 in your head before responding. The key is to approach the conversation with a spirit of curiosity and openness rather than defensiveness and rigidity. It's about being willing to listen, really listen to the other person's perspective, even if you don't agree with it. It's about looking for points of connection and common ground rather than focusing on the areas of disagreement. And it's about recognizing that the goal of any healthy argument is not to win, but to understand and to grow. When we can approach conflict with that mindset, we open ourselves up to the possibility of real transformation, both in our relationships and in ourselves. Finally, the fifth situation on our list, being silent when we're unsure about something, is perhaps the most universal of all. We've all found ourselves in situations where we're not quite sure what to say or do, where we feel like we're in over our heads or out of our depth. And in those moments, the temptation can be strong to fake it till we make it, to pretend we know more than we do, or to offer opinions and advice that we're not really qualified to give. But the truth is, there's great wisdom in admitting when we don't know something. It takes courage and humility to say, I'm not sure, or I need more information before I can weigh in on this. It means being willing to be vulnerable, to expose the gaps in our knowledge and experience, and to trust that others will respect us for our honesty and authenticity. In fact, being silent when we're unsure can actually be a sign of great strength and intelligence. It shows that we're not afraid to learn, to grow, to admit when we need help or guidance. It demonstrates a willingness to listen and to be open to new ideas and perspectives rather than assuming we already have all the answers. Of course, being silent when we're unsure doesn't mean never speaking up or never taking a stand. There are times when it's important to voice our opinions and beliefs, even if we're not 100% certain about them. But it does mean being thoughtful and deliberate about when and how we choose to do so. It means taking the time to educate ourselves, to seek out reliable sources of information, and to consider multiple viewpoints before forming our own conclusions. It means being willing to change our minds when presented with new evidence or arguments rather than stubbornly clinging to our preconceived notions. And it means recognizing that even the most knowledgeable and experienced among us still have room to learn and grow. None of us have all the answers, and that's okay. In fact, it's what makes life so rich and fascinating, the endless opportunity to discover new things about ourselves, about others, and about the world around us. As we navigate the complex landscape of communication and relationships, the power of silence can be a guiding light, a tool for greater clarity, compassion, and wisdom. Whether we're facing anger, grief, gossip, conflict, or uncertainty, being silent at the right moments can help us to connect more deeply with ourselves and with others. But it's important to remember that silence is not a passive act. It's not about withdrawing from the world or avoiding the challenges and joys of human interaction. Rather, it's about engaging more fully and authentically, about being present and attentive and open to the richness of each moment. And it's about recognizing that sometimes the most powerful thing we can say is nothing at all. In the space between our words and the quiet stillness of our hearts and minds, there is a whole universe waiting to be explored, a source of wisdom and insight that is always available to us if only we're willing to listen. So let us cultivate the art of silence, not as a way of hiding or holding back, but as a way of showing up more fully and lovingly in the world. Let us be silent when it serves us and others, and let us speak up when our voices are needed to heal, to inspire, to create positive change. And let us trust that in the end, it is not just our words, but the quality of our presence, the depth of our listening, and the generosity of our hearts that will make the greatest difference in the lives of those around us. May we all find the courage and the grace to embrace silence in its many forms, and to let it guide us towards greater wisdom, compassion, and connection today and always. Thank you. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the noise and chaos around you? Like you can't think straight or focus on what really matters? Well, I'm here to tell you that the key to finding inner peace and achieving your goals is to always be silent and cut all contacts. I know that might sound extreme or even impossible in today's hyper-connected world. But hear me out. We are constantly bombarded with distractions, notifications dinging on our phones, people vying for our attention, an endless stream of information and opinions coming at us from all directions. It's no wonder so many of us feel stressed, scattered, and unable to concentrate on the things that are truly important to us. But what if I told you there was a way to rise above all that noise, a way to create a sense of stillness and clarity that allows you to tap into your deepest wisdom and potential? The answer is simple, but not easy. You must learn to cultivate inner silence and solitude. You must be willing to disconnect from the external world for periods of time in order to reconnect with yourself. Now, I'm not suggesting you become a hermit and completely withdraw from society. That's not realistic or healthy. We are social creatures who need human connection and interaction. But there is a difference between the nourishing relationships that uplift us and the toxic ones that drain us. There is a difference between being available when needed and being on call 24/7. Boundaries are essential for our well-being. Start by carving out some silent time for yourself each day, even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes at first. Find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed and simply sit with yourself. No phone, no TV, no music, no reading. Just you and your breath and your thoughts. It might feel uncomfortable or even scary at first. We're not used to being alone with ourselves without any distractions. But stick with it. Over time, you'll start to crave these moments of solitude. You'll discover that answers and insights arise from the stillness that you never would have accessed when you were caught up in the busyness of life. Use this silent time to check in with yourself. How are you really feeling beneath the surface? What are your true desires and dreams? What's weighing on your mind or holding you back? Give yourself permission to explore these questions without judgment. Be curious and open to what emerges. You might be surprised by the wisdom and clarity that's already inside you. As you get more comfortable with silence, start expanding it to other areas of your life. Take a silent walk in nature without your headphones. Eat a meal alone without any distractions. Drive somewhere without turning on the radio. Notice how different you feel when you're not constantly consuming information or stimulation from external sources. Notice how much more present and grounded you become. But cultivating inner silence is only half the battle. The other half is being discerning about who and what you allow into your space. Not everyone and everything deserves access to your time and energy. You have to be protective of your peace and set clear boundaries. This might mean unfollowing toxic people on social media, saying no to draining social obligations, or even ending relationships that are no longer serving you. I know that can be really hard, especially if you're a people pleaser or afraid of conflict. But your well-being must come first. You can't pour from an empty cup. If certain people or situations are consistently making you feel stressed, anxious, angry, or depleted, it's time to reevaluate whether they belong in your life. Surround yourself with people who inspire and uplift you, who respect your boundaries and support your growth. And be willing to spend time alone rather than settling for low-vibe company. Solitude can be scary if we're not used to it, but it's essential for our spiritual and emotional development. When we're constantly around others, it's easy to get caught up in groupthink and lose touch with our own inner voice. But when we have the courage to be alone, we create space for introspection, creativity, and personal growth. Some of the most brilliant minds in history, from Einstein to Eleanor Roosevelt, credited their success to long periods of solitude. They understood that groundbreaking ideas and innovations don't come from following the crowd, but from going within and trusting one's own insights. So don't be afraid to march to the beat of your own drum, even if that means spending time alone. Of course, I'm not saying you should completely isolate yourself forever. We all need connection, love, and support. But be intentional about the relationships you cultivate. Choose depth over breadth. Cherish the handful of people who truly see you, accept you, and want the best for you. Quality is more important than quantity when it comes to friendships and romantic partnerships. And communicate your need for space when you need it. Don't be afraid to tell people, I need some alone time to recharge, or I'm taking a break from social media this weekend. Those who really care about you will understand and respect your boundaries. And those who don't, well, that tells you something valuable about where they really stand. Ultimately, learning to be silent and selective with your time and relationships is about taking responsibility for your own happiness and growth. It's about recognizing that you have the power to create the life you want by being intentional about what you let in. So many of us go through life on autopilot, reacting to whatever comes our way without really pausing to ask if it's what we truly want. But when you cultivate inner silence and strong boundaries, you start living life on your own terms. You gain the clarity to know what you want and the courage to go after it, even if that means going against the grain. You develop a strong sense of self that isn't dependent on others' validation or approval. And you free up so much time and energy to focus on the things that really light you up inside, instead of getting caught up in drama or distractions. Of course, this is a practice and a journey. It's not about achieving some state of perfection where you're always zen and never affected by the chaos of the world. That's not realistic. We're human and we're meant to engage with life with all its beauty and messiness. But by regularly touching into that place of inner stillness and being discerning about what you allow into your space, you develop resilience and perspective. You're able to navigate challenges with more grace and mindfulness. You don't get so easily thrown off center by the ups and downs of life. And you develop a deep trust in yourself and the universe that allows you to take bold leaps and weather any storm. So if you take one thing away from this talk, let it be this: your time, energy, and attention are the most precious resources you have. Don't squander them on things that don't really matter. Get quiet, go within, and align your life with what feels true and meaningful to you. Have the courage to walk away from what doesn't serve you and create space for the magic to flow in. It won't always be easy, and there will be times of discomfort and doubt. Growth often is. But on the other side of that discomfort is a life beyond your wildest dreams, a life of purpose, passion, and unshakable inner peace. You have the power to create that life. But it starts with learning to be silent and discerning. It starts with realizing that the greatest treasures are found not in the external world, but in the vast landscape of your own mind and soul. So start today. Carve out 10 minutes to sit in silence and see what comes up. Notice what and who you're allowing into your space and whether they're nourishing you or depleting you. Have the hard conversations and set the boundaries you need to protect your peace. Trust that as you align your life with your truth, the right people and opportunities will flow to you. And above all, remember that you are worthy of a life that lights you up inside. You are worthy of deep connections and soulful solitude. You are worthy of pursuing your wildest dreams and desires. Don't let anyone or anything convince you otherwise. The world needs your unique magic, but it starts with you tending to the magic within. So go forth from this place and cultivate the courage to be silent and selective. Your inner wisdom is waiting to be heard. Your extraordinary life is waiting to be lived. All you have to do is create the space for it to emerge. And let me tell you, when you start living this way, when you start prioritizing your peace and your purpose above all else, incredible things start to happen. Synchronicities and opportunities start showing up out of nowhere. The right people and resources aligned to support your vision. And you start tapping into a flow state where everything just seems to click into place. But it's not about waiting around for these things to happen. It's about taking consistent, aligned action from that place of inner stillness and clarity. It's about trusting the nudges and the insights that come through in the silence and having the courage to act on them even when they don't make logical sense. So many of us are held back by our need for certainty and security. We want to guarantee that things will work out before we're willing to take a leap. But the truth is, life doesn't come with guarantees. There's always an element of risk and unknown when we step outside our comfort zone and go after our dreams. But when you cultivate a deep trust in yourself and the universe, when you learn to navigate by your inner compass instead of external validation, you develop the resilience to handle whatever comes your way. You know that even if things don't go as planned, you have the strength and the wisdom to course correct and keep moving forward. And that's when the real magic happens. That's when you start living a life that's truly aligned with your soul's calling. A life where you wake up excited to greet the day, where you feel lit up and inspired by the work you're doing and the people you're connecting with. A life where you're no longer settling for crumbs, but feasting on the banquet of your own limitless potential. But it all starts with being willing to get quiet and listen. It starts with being willing to let go of what's no longer serving you and create space for something new to come in. It starts with being radically honest about what you really want and being willing to do the inner and outer work to make it happen. And let me tell you, it's not always a straight line. There will be ups and downs, twists and turns, moments of doubt and fear. That's all part of the journey. But when you stay anchored in your truth, when you keep coming back to that place of stillness and clarity within, you'll always find your way back to the path. And you'll start to see that every challenge, every setback, every disappointment is actually a gift in disguise. It's an opportunity to learn, to grow, to shed old patterns and beliefs that have been holding you back. It's an invitation to dig deeper, to get even more honest and authentic about who you are and what you're here to create. Because the truth is, we're not here to play small or hide our light. We're here to shine as brightly as we can, to share our unique gifts and talents with the world. And that requires us to be bold, to be unapologetic, to be willing to stand out and speak our truth, even if it ruffles some feathers. But when we do that, when we have the courage to show up fully and authentically, we give others permission to do the same. We start a ripple effect of transformation that touches everyone around us. And we start to see that our personal growth and evolution isn't just about us, it's about the impact we can have on the world. So if you're feeling called to make a change, if you're feeling a stirring in your soul for something more, trust that. Don't second guess it or talk yourself out of it. Lean into it, even if it scares you, especially if it scares you. Because on the other side of that fear is a life beyond your wildest dreams. And it all starts with being willing to get quiet and listen. It starts with being willing to cut out the noise and the distractions and get radically honest with yourself about what you really want. It starts with being willing to let go of what's no longer serving you and create space for your true desires to flow in. So start today. Start with just 10 minutes of silence and see what comes up. Start noticing what and who you're allowing into your space and whether they're lifting you up or weighing you down. Start having the courageous conversations and setting the boundaries you need to protect your peace and your purpose. And trust that as you do this, as you align your life more and more with your truth, magic will start to happen. Doors will open, opportunities will arise, and you'll find yourself living a life beyond your wildest dreams. A life of passion, purpose, and unshakable inner peace. But it takes commitment. It takes discipline. It takes a willingness to do the inner work even when it's uncomfortable. It takes a willingness to let go of the old stories and patterns that have been holding you back and step into the unknown. But oh, is it worth it? Every single step, every single leap, every single moment of discomfort is leading you closer to your true self, your true power, your true purpose. And when you finally claim that, when you finally step into the life you were born to live, there's no going back. You'll look back on this moment and thank yourself for being willing to get quiet and listen. You'll thank yourself for being willing to let go of what was no longer serving you and create space for your desires to flow in. You'll thank yourself for being brave enough to take the road less traveled and trust the journey. Because that's what this is all about. It's about learning to trust ourselves, to trust the wisdom and the guidance that's always available to us when we get quiet enough to listen. It's about learning to trust the journey even when we can't see the whole path laid out before us. And it's about learning to trust that we are always supported, always guided, always loved, even in the moments of darkness and doubt, even in the moments of challenge and change. There is a force greater than ourselves that is conspiring in our favor. So lean into that. Lean into the silence, lean into the solitude, lean into the unknown, and trust that as you do, as you take one brave step after another. You are being led to a life beyond your wildest dreams. A life where you wake up every day feeling excited, inspired, and lit up from the inside out. A life where you're surrounded by people who see you, celebrate you, and support you in being your best self. A life where you're making a meaningful impact and leaving a legacy of love and light. That life is available to you. It's waiting for you. But it starts with a choice to get quiet and listen. A choice to let go of what's no longer serving you and create space for your true desires to flow in. A choice to trust yourself, trust the journey, and trust the magic that's always available to you. So make that choice. Make it today and keep making it every single day forward. Because you deserve a life that lights you up. You deserve to feel passionate, purposeful, and peaceful. You deserve to be surrounded by love, abundance, and joy. And it all starts with learning to be silent. It all starts with learning to cut out the noise and tune into your own inner wisdom. It all starts with being willing to let go of the old and welcome in the new. So take a deep breath, close your eyes, and get quiet. Listen to the whispers of your soul. Trust the nudges and the promptings that arise, and know that as you do, as you take one brave step after another, you are being guided to a life beyond your wildest dreams. Keep going, keep growing, keep listening and trusting and leaping. The best is yet to come, and it all starts within. So go out there and live the life you were born to live. Go out there and shine as brightly as you can. Go out there and make the impact you were meant to make. The world needs your light. The world needs your magic. And it all starts with being willing to get quiet and listen. It all starts with being willing to cut out the noise and tune into your own inner guidance system. It all starts with being willing to trust yourself, trust the journey, and trust the magic that's always available to you. So let this be your invitation. Let this be your call to adventure. Let this be your reminder that you have everything you need within you to create a life beyond your wildest dreams. It's time. It's time to get quiet and listen. It's time to let go of what's no longer serving you and create space for your desires to flow in. It's time to trust yourself, trust the journey, and trust the magic. Your extraordinary life is waiting for you. All you have to do is take the first step. All you have to do is say yes to the call of your soul. All you have to do is be willing to get quiet and listen. So take a deep breath, close your eyes, and tune in. Your inner wisdom is waiting to guide you. Your extraordinary life is waiting to be claimed, and it all starts now. Here's to embracing the power of silence and solitude. Here's to cutting out the noise and tuning into your truth. Here's to trusting yourself, trusting the journey, and trusting the magic. The best is yet to come. And it all starts within. So get quiet, go within, and let your soul lead the way. Your extraordinary life is waiting for you. All you have to do is take the first step. All you have to do is trust. All you have to do is leap. And know that as you do, as you follow the call of your soul, magic awaits you at every turn. Synchronicities, opportunities, and blessings beyond your wildest dreams are aligning in your favor. Keep going, keep growing, keep shining your light. The world needs your magic. The world needs your presence. The world needs you. So get quiet, tune in, and trust. Your soul knows the way. Your heart knows the truth. And your extraordinary life is waiting to be claimed. It's time. It's time to rise up, speak up, and show up as the powerful, passionate, purposeful being you were born to be. It's time to let your light shine so brightly that it illuminates the path for others. And it all starts with a simple choice. A choice to honor your truth. A choice to follow your heart. A choice to trust the magic that's always available to you. So make that choice. Make it now and make it every single day forward. Because your extraordinary life isn't somewhere off in the distant future. It's right here, right now, waiting for you to claim it. All you have to do is get quiet and listen. All you have to do is trust the promptings of your soul. All you have to do is take one brave step after another, knowing that the universe has your back every step of the way. So here's to you. Here's to your courage, your resilience, your unwavering commitment to creating a life that lights you up from the inside out. Here's to honoring your truth, following your heart, and trusting the magic. The best is yet to come. And it all starts now, so get quiet, tune in, and let your soul lead the way. Your extraordinary life is waiting for you. All you have to do is claim it. And remember, always be silent and cut all contacts that don't serve your highest good. Your inner world is waiting to be explored. Your magic is waiting to be unleashed. So go out there and make it happen. The world is waiting for you, and your extraordinary life is ready to be lived. Trust yourself. Trust the journey. And trust the magic that's always available to you. Here's to embracing the power of silence, solitude, and soul-aligned living. Here's to being the change you wish to see in the world. And here's to creating a life beyond your wildest dreams. It's time. Let's do this. The journey begins now.